acupressure tool. Better. Okay, good. So next we're going to move on to the ear seeds. Okay, Monse, so this time we're going to now work with the ears. I'm just going to turn your head towards the left side over here. Is this comfortable for you? Okay, good. So I'm just going to expose your ears. Is that okay? Good. So over here, I'm just going to clean your ear first. We're going to be using some ear acupressure seeds, as I mentioned before, in certain spots of the ear to just kind of help you relax that area. So we're going to be using these packs. Okay, so how this works is that they are seeds that stick onto your ear. It doesn't puncture your ear or anything, but it does provide enough pressure throughout the day to stimulate those relaxation points into the ear. Today we're going to use this 5-point acupuncture protocol. Just going to place it right over here. Then I can see them. Okay, great. So, firstly, I'm going to use this acupressure tool to kind of stimulate these points. The first one is called the Sympathetic. Move this over here. I think over here. So the first point that we're going to do is called the Sympathetic, which is right over here. So I'm just going to apply some pressure. If it's too uncomfortable, please let me know so I can stop the treatment. So the Sympathetic is for calming down the stress reaction or the fight or flight response. So we use it to balance the autonomic nervous system, affecting the nerves to the internal organs, digestive system, releasing spasm and creating dilation of the blood vessels. It also regulates sweating, pain control, and eye disease. So it's just over there. The next is called Shenmen, or Spirit Gate. That one's located right over here. This is, in Chinese medicine, is responsible for returning the qi to the lower dantian, which is considered to be the center of a person. It anchors the spirit and it also calms the mind. So this is particularly really good for people who struggle with insomnia or palpitation, panic attacks, mental health, or chronic pain. So when this is hyperactive, it can cause attention deficit disorder, fear, high blood pressure. So stimulating this point helps with concentration and reducing blood pressure. Next is the kidney. So that is located right over here. So the kidney is responsible for the water element. In traditional Chinese medicine, the organs have designated elements. So it is responsible for rooting the yin and the yang, and governs essence and grace of aging. So yin and yang is basically the masculine and the feminine. So yin being more feminine and yang being more masculine. So stimulating this point just helps balance those two energies in our body. The kidneys points are also used to strengthen the lower limbs, the spine, the bone marrow, digestion and spinal cord, reproductive production, brain, hearing, teeth, fertility. And it's associated with trust, self-worth, confidence, gentleness, willpower. When it's imbalanced, it can lead to fear, paranoia, mistrust, or low self-confidence. So just stimulating that point helps with that. Actually, right over here too. Okay, so number 4 is the wood element, which is the liver. So this one, somewhere here. So the liver is responsible for regulating the harmonious flow of qi and blood. It nourishes the nails, the eyes, the hair, the skin, the ligaments, and the tendons. And it also regulates menstruation, sleep, mood, digestion, respiration, and urine flow. This is really effective for migraines or headaches or high blood pressure, pain and mood swings. So when a person's liver energy or qi is stagnated, it can sometimes manifest as internalized anger that's suppressed and not let out, which over time can become really toxic. So it's important to release those in healthy ways. So when the liver is healthy, you get clear judgment, no fixed opinions, free flow, acceptance, kindness, and harmony. And as I said, when there's an imbalance, it can cause anger, rage, violence, frustration, depression, being stuck in obsession. So it's very important to become aware of those emotions and find healthy ways to deal with them. Lastly, we have the lung over here, which in traditional Chinese medicine has to do with the metal element. In the autumn time, that is when this element is most prominent and active, and it really has to do with controlling the qi, the governing of the water passages, and dispersing and descending the chi, and regulates respiration and associated with the skin. So essentially, the kidneys are the lungs are responsible for the immune system, which is why we are most vulnerable during the autumn time. Because of the season changes, the immune system is also affected. So breathing disorders, skin problems, sweating, it regulates the body temperature, sense of smell, edema, thirst, urination, and diarrhea, even constipation, cold and flu, asthma, and bronchitis, hay fever, and sinusitis. And it's associated with inspiration, motivation, creativity, and letting go. When the lungs are imbalanced, it can lead to apathy, lethargy, lack of inspiration, especially grief and sadness, and inability to let go of those. So, after stimulating the points, I'm going to use these the ear seeds now to create a more long-lasting effect. So I'm just gonna use this tweezer. Okay, we're gonna start with the sympathetic. So whenever you're feeling stressed, you can just press on these. They'll eventually come off, like in the shower, so you don't have to worry about removing them. Number 2 is shen, which helps with clarity of the mind, spirit gate. There we go. I'm just gonna press on these. Yeah, the ear is a little bit red or erythematous as a result of the stimulation, acupressure stimulation, and that's absolutely normal. It also tends to get warm. So number 3 is the kidneys. Number 4 is the liver. And lastly, the lung. Go right there. Perfect. So now you have all 5 acupressure seats onto your ear. As I said, you don't really have to worry about removing them. They'll just come off on their own. They usually last a couple of days to 1 week. And it'll just help you be more balanced throughout your day and also help with your sleep. I'm going to do the other side of the ear now. So Monse, I'm just gonna turn your head to this side. Is that comfortable for you? Okay. And I'm just going to expose your ear if that's okay. Perfect. So just like before, we're going to clean this ear as well. Alcohol swab. So again, these acupressure seats does not puncture the ear, but it's just good to have that be disinfected anyway. Alright, so I'm just gonna put this here. So again, we're going to start with the first point here, which is the sympathetic point. Which is, again, has to do with calming down the flight or fight response. So if you're feeling ever anxious or stressed out, you can always just use this point and press onto the ear seat. Number 2 is shen, which helps with focus. So if you're feeling distracted and unable to focus, then this is the point that you would press on. And the third one is the kidney. It has to do with fear. So if you're feeling nervous or anxious or worried about something, this is the point to press. Number 4 is the liver right over here. If you're feeling frustrated and angry, this is the point to press. And lastly, the lung. This point is when you're feeling sad, lonely, or depressed. This is the point you press. Now we're gonna do the same thing as we did on the other side. As you can see, the over there. I don't know what kind of plant it comes from, but it is a real seed. In the olden days, at least. So again, this is sympathetic when we're feeling flight or fight, stressed out. Next is the shen. When we're feeling distracted and need help focusing onto our task. Nowadays, with our devices, it's very easy to be distracted. So just pressing on this will help kind of mitigate those dopamine cravings. The third one is called the kidney point, which has to do when we're feeling fearful. Say we have a big presentation to do or a deadline coming up and we feel overwhelmed. This is a great point to practice, to press on. And again, we can do these with needles or just with these seeds. They're both effective in their own way. The thing I like about the ear seeds is that they can stay on for a little bit longer. You can move around with them. Unlike the needles, which you obviously don't want to move around as it can dislodge the needle. So here we go with number 4, which is a liver. Again, this is good for anger management. Throughout the day, sometimes we're faced with situations or people that kind of press our buttons, which we can be reminded to take a deep breath and not take things personally. Because we never know what that person is going through. They may just be having a bad day. So it's just better to give them the benefit of the doubt and not take on any of that frustration. Okay. Lastly, we're going to work with the lung. Sometimes our emotions, especially grief and sadness from the loss of something we were attached to, can cause pain and suffering, emotional pain and suffering. So having this point, the lung point, just helps out with that. Helps us to remember that everything is impermanent and we can't hold on to things as much as we like to have them forever. It's just their natural cycle to come and go into our life. And that no matter how bad the situation feels or how painful it feels right now, it is going to change as well. That is just the nature of things. So go ahead and feel all of your emotions, whether it be sadness, anger, frustration, fear, loneliness, overwhelm. These are all normal emotions that you're allowed to have and allowed to express in a healthy way. So if you are fortunate enough to have someone to talk to, someone you trust, that's also a good way to kind of help release some of these emotions. Or you can get involved with something physically active to help release these emotions, like a hobby. Recently I discovered pole dancing, and that to me has been so therapeutic and has been helping me release a lot of these emotions that I spoke about. So that is it for now. We're going to allow Monse to go into her deep REM, which she's going through right now, completely falling asleep. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope to see you in the next video. I'm so happy to be back with all of you. So thank you always for being here with me. I went through some really tough personal times and I had to back away from my YouTube channel for a bit. But now that I'm back, I'm really happy to be back, and I'm happy to see you are also here with me. So thank you so much for all your support and your love. If you could give this video a like and a thumbs up, that would be really, really helpful. It just helps pass the video on towards more people so that they can also help relax. They can also be helped relax and fall asleep. So once again, thank you everyone, and I hope to see you in the next video.